Okay. All right. So I think it went correctly. All right. And then laptop here. Okay. We're live. Thank you guys for your patience. I want to welcome Dr. Kemi Lewis, PharmD. She is on the live today, and I'm so excited to have her. So welcome, Kemi, and thank you so much for your time and being willing to share your journey and us just having a good chat for the night. How are you feeling?
Sure. I'm feeling good.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I wanted to get started by asking you to just kind of share a little bit about yourself with our endo and adeno community.
Okay, well, so Kemi Lewis, I am a pharmacist. I graduated from pharmacy school in 2021. So since then, I've worked mostly in community pharmacy, but for the past, since March, so I've been working as a specialty pharmacist. So you talk about and share a little bit about my journey?
Yes.
Okay. So since I started my cycle, I was about, I think 12 when I started. I pretty much knew something wasn't right. They always told us that, when you first start, you might not be regularly and things like that. I didn't really want to the point of regularity.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I can hear my voice a lot. Are you hearing like feedback, or is it just me on my end?
It's kind of a little echo. Hold on, let me see if I can fix it. Okay, try it now.
Hello? You can hear me? Okay, good. That feedback went away. Okay, so I started my cycle when I was about 12 years old, and so from then until I turned 15, when I started high school, I pretty much just dealt with the irregularity. I also have PCOS, and I think that's kind of been an underlying issue, the whole time that I've been menstruating as well. And so that contributed to the irregularity. So when I was about 15, I was playing tennis, and I remember actually distinctly one time I was practicing, and actually my dad was my tennis coach, and I'm the type of person, I like to push myself, which can sometimes be to my detriment, and I really didn't want to sit out from practice, but I had to because I was just in so much pain. So from that point on, I was like, this is starting to interfere with my life. And it was so unpredictable. I was like, I can't be having this. I can't be in the middle of the match or something and start my cycle. So I decided to go on birth control. My mom took me to the doctor, and I got started on birth control. And I was pretty much on it until I was about 24, on and off. But for the most part, I was on it until I was 24. And I got married around then. And I decided I didn't want to be on it anymore. I didn't really find one that I absolutely loved, and I didn't enjoy the way that it made me feel. So I was like, let me get off with this. And that's when I really, really started to experience symptoms again. And I remember that I just had this bothersome ache on my left-hand side. Yeah. And I went to the doctor in fall 2018. And I was like, let's explore this, let's figure out what's going on. And so I got, of course, first step ultrasound. They gave me an ultrasound, and they said, it looks like you do have polycystic ovaries, and so that was a shock. But I didn't officially get that diagnosis actually until this year, but I've pretty much known it's been there. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's labs and things that can be done, but a lot of providers don't want to do it.
No, they don't. And I don't get it.
Yeah. So I went through that. And then in 2020, I did have a laparoscopy. I thought it was more than just diagnostic, but it ended up just being diagnostic, actually. The surgeon actually told me that she was going to do ablation during that surgery, but she didn't. Which actually probably ended up being for my benefit, although it wasn't until this year that I did finally get an excision. So about exactly 5 years after I was diagnosed via surgery. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have gotten the excision all in one, you know, and then hopefully things wouldn't have continued to grow. Yeah. But yeah, so I had that diagnosis in 2020, and then June of this year I had excision, and that's when I found out that I'm stage 4. In that early surgery, it seemed as though maybe she was not quite as, well, she was not as well trained, and probably didn't have the ability to really know what was going on in there and be able to recognize endometriosis and biopsy it. But she did say that, you know, she had staged me pretty early. I never really officially got staging from her either. So, and then also there was a mix up with my biopsies. So I had 2 biopsies done. One in the, behind the uterus, you know, in that area, by the rectum there, and then also one in the peritoneum on the left-hand side where I was primarily having the pain. So there were 2 biopsies, but then somehow they got combined into one. And then one sample that was tested, and it was confirmed endometriosis. So I just went on with the assumption that, you know, both spots were endometriosis. Yeah. I didn't really quite understand how much it could progress and grow, and things. And during that time, really the only option that she gave me was birth control. So I got back on birth control for a couple of years. In 2022, I started exploring it a bit more, again, because I got back off the birth control, and I was like, we need to figure out what's going on with the pain here. And so I went back to the same doctor, actually, and unfortunately, she kind of gaslit me and was like, I don't really have anything for you. There's really nothing I can offer you. At that point, we were desiring pregnancy also, because I was, you know, out of school and things. And so she just straight away sent me to a fertility doctor, slapped infertility on my chart, and I was seeing a fertility doctor. And that fertility doctor, the first thing that she told me in that first meeting was, I am not an endometriosis specialist. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sure many of the clients that you see are, you know, having infertility because of endometriosis. It's a large contributor, whether, you know, people are having endo and they're having a lot of pain or not. Sometimes it's, you know, the reason for unexplained infertility. So I'm sure you have to deal with it and see it in your practice. And I was like, really, right now, my primary focus is dealing with this pain. So I did finally find a decent surgeon, and again, I did have that surgery here this year. So I've really just been the past 5 months focusing on healing from that, and I'm optimistic that it's going to make the difference. My journey is ongoing.
So tell me, how did you feel when you started to experience that gaslighting? Because so many women talk about that gaslighting portion when you're trying to get diagnosed, but you're receiving a lot of ums and ums and I don't really knows. And how did that make you feel at that time?
So initially, which I actually spoke over a couple other doctors, but I saw gaslighting kind of give you the brief overview. But that surgeon, which I really probably shouldn't even call her a surgeon, that doctor that I saw that cut me up initially and gave me that diagnosis, she actually really did believe me initially. And she was like, let's explore this, let's figure out what the pain is. And she's the one actually that even first told me the word endometriosis, and I was like, okay, all right. I, did a little research, and she was like, the only way that you can get a definitive diagnosis is through surgery. She said, we can treat you as if you have it and go from there, or we can do the surgery. And then she gave me that option, only the option of ablation. And I was like, okay, well, let's go forward with the surgery, because I was hopeful that, if there was something in there, she could spot it, take care of it, and then I could go forward. And then if not, okay, even better, which I was really hoping that would be the outcome, that she wouldn't find anything. I was really leaning on that. I was like, she's going to go in there, do a quick scope around. She's not going to see nothing. And we got to figure out what else is going on, because there's no way I have this endometriosis. So I was kind of in denial, before I even got the diagnosis. And then when she told me, yeah, you have this, I was like, okay, wow. All right. And then she literally went into the room after my surgery and spoke to my husband and told him the phrase, "We got it." Like, so I'm not sure exactly what else you can, like, you know, gather from that. Then, like, okay, we found something and we did something about it. Not we just took 2 biopsies that are going to be mixed together into one.
Yeah.
And kind of maybe give you a diagnosis and really not much else. So that was unfortunate also. So I ended up having to go and actually read the notes in the operative report and like, so I guess basically to answer your question, like how did I feel? It made me angry, but then also it made me want to advocate more for myself. And you have to think also, like, as I'm going through this, like really pursuing a diagnosis, I'm actually also in pharmacy school, so I'm learning even more. And I'm gaining an even better understanding of, you know, physiology and things, and the medications that are used to treat it, gaining a better understanding of birth control and things like that. And so, I would even mention that sometimes, but I also do think that, you know, because I was in school, we were pretty broke at the time, honestly. And so I was on Medicaid, and I think that also contributed to how I was treated, unfortunately.
Yes, and that is very prevalent also, and I'm glad that you brought that up because unfortunately people or women do experience a lot of bias and discrimination based on the insurance that they carry. And that is across the chart. Like, and I don't understand it because it shouldn't matter what insurance you have, you're in pain. You know what I mean? I'm coming to you for help.
Exactly.
So, and that's unfortunate. So, can you tell me a little bit about your experience post-surgery? When you came out of surgery, were you concerned? Were you like, what's next? I hope they got it, because she said that we got it. So, did you believe that, or were you kind of like, I don't know, this may be just the tip of the iceberg here?
Well, at that point, I was still in school. I was in my last year of pharmacy school, so I was on rotation. And it was my first rotation. Yeah. And so I wanted to make a good impression on it. I had surgery, it was the first week, the Friday of that first week. So I went ahead and, I let my preceptor know I'm having this procedure done. And that was a whole thing to deal with too. Yeah. Because I had to get a little bit of time off. I thought I was going to be okay to go back on Monday. I was not, so I ended up going back on Tuesday. That was not enough time. And then also, in retrospect, had she actually done an ablation, I likely wouldn't have been able to go back to rotation that quickly. Yeah. And for those 2 days that I missed, I had a lot of making up to do. And so I was really just like focused on getting back to rotation, and in my mind, okay, this has been taken care of. I'll move forward and, deal with it, I guess, as I have to. But I was like, open to the fact that I might have some pain healing after surgery, but hopefully it'll get better. And it definitely didn't. It really just got progressively worse.
And what kind of impact did that have on your mental health? Because I know for me, it definitely took me out.
Yeah, definitely took a toll on my mental health. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I used to play tennis. I wanted to be pretty active. I actually did also play 1 year of college tennis. And then after that, I still played a bit competitively when I was still, in undergrad. And then even after that, I still like to, go to the gym, stay active. Just, it had always been a part of my life, Yeah. And then there was a certain point, actually, I have a few diagnoses as well, so I started finding out, things were wrong in about 2016. Yeah. And then I was just like, wow, I'm so young. I used to be able to do so much. And I still think this sometimes. And I'm like, I should be able to do more, but I can't. And so it was a little bit, I would say, it took a toll on my mental health for sure, and it still does, and it's something that you have to continue to fight.
And it's unfortunate that we feel that guilt. You know what I mean? Like you said, I can't do what I used to. And I remember feeling like that. Like you just kind of feel like the life that you used to know is far behind you now because this thing is taking over.
Yeah.
I remember mourning after when I had my hysterectomy, and I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I mourned.
Like, that makes sense. Like a part of it. You've lost the organ.
Yeah. And it's sad. Like, did you, if you don't mind me asking, did you utilize therapy of any sort, or did you just kind of do your own self-care and kind of embark on your own healing journey that was fit for you?
I totally don't mind you asking. I am still in therapy till this day. I actually just met with my therapist last night. So yeah, I've been in therapy. We've been in therapy, me and my husband together. So yeah, that's definitely a resource that I've used. And I actually even starting back to like when I was first starting to explore what's going on.
Okay, amazing. And I did the same thing, and I'm still in therapy. And you don't even think that that's something that you have to continue, but it almost becomes essential, right? Because it's every day. It's not just during the cycles or during ovulation. It's every day.
Yeah.
How did this affect your significant other? And I think this question is important because for those of us that are dealing with this disease, you know, our significant others kind of become a caretaker almost. How did this affect him? Did he ever speak on that?
Yeah, he has spoken on it, but yeah, he definitely has become basically a caretaker for me. Actually, I kind of call him my little nurse practitioner, especially like after surgery because, oh man, I had no idea what I was getting into in June of this year. You know, that excision surgery really was a doozy.
Yeah.
And I had to fight to get enough time off in order to be able to heal, and it was just amazing to me how little I could do. Like showering was a task, putting my little nightgown on was a task, walking to the bathroom. And so like those first couple of days, like he had to do a lot. And so it's really made me appreciate him even more than I even thought that I could.
Yeah.
And I know that even though he doesn't always express it, it does take a toll on him. It makes him sad. I don't know if he would exactly explain it. He's willing to say, you know, a few things if you want him to, but I don't know if he would exactly explain it this way, but I think it's like maybe sort of a feeling of helplessness because, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do to help.
Uh-oh, sorry.
Oh, you got Popo?
No. I didn't know it was going to do that. It's like, it started glitching, yeah. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Interneting. Okay, we're back. So if you want him to jump on, he can.
You want to come over here? Yeah, come on.
The more the merrier. How y'all doing, Facebook? Y'all share the live. Drop stars. I would appreciate them.
Sorry.
Quentin. I'm Kiera, aka CivillyYours. Thank you for joining the live. When I was speaking with Kemi about this last week, I mentioned how I think it's also important to hear the perspective of our significant others, because you guys definitely take on a lot of the brunt of our recovery, our bad days, our flare-ups. So do you mind sharing a little bit how this makes you feel when you see that she's down and out, she's not feeling well, and she's kind of needing you to step in? How does that make you feel, and how do you navigate that?
Notice it when it's happening. It's like it's usually after the fact that I'm like, I don't know. I guess I like just try to proactively, I guess, pick up the slack and stuff, and then I realize that it's like, yeah, like, I guess I have been doing that, and then like, you know, she's going through a flare or something.
Yeah, and my husband, he kind of says the same thing. He's just like, I felt helpless. Like, a lot of the times you guys feel like, I wish I could just take this away from her, you know, to some degree, but you can't. So do you kind of, do you suggest self-care for her? Or like, what is her go-to thing that you know, like, this makes her feel better? This gives her the pep, like the pep up that she needs.
Well, get my meds, please.
Go get my meds, my 800 milligrams.
Get that naproxen, Tylenol. I mean, pretty much you do anything I ask of you, and it's like you never make me feel like a burden. So I guess run me a bath, help me clean out, you know, the tub, take care of our dog. We have a dog, so like pretty much do everything for him since I'm not always able to. What else? He drives me everywhere. If we both go in, we drive.
Yeah. Passenger princess.
Yeah, passenger princess. Always. But, you know, just things like that. Oh, actually, when I was recovering from surgery, I took a couple little pictures of little things that you did, like, I have a heating blanket for every room, basically. So it's like, oh, you go rest on the couch, the blanket's already warmed for me. You know, my couch heating pad is already warmed. If I've gone to the bathroom, and because I have a cane, and sometimes I'm a bit too proud to use it, even around the house, I started implementing that actually shortly before surgery, and I was like, you need this, just use it. And so, like, there was a couple times actually, you know, you brought the cane outside the bathroom door, and I'm like, oh yeah, you noticed me limping. Okay.
Y'all hear this?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Little things like that.
That's a good man, Savannah. That is a good man.
Yeah. Pays attention, I would say too.
That's great. And do you feel like this disease that a lot of us deal with, do you feel like it's taken a toll on you? You know what I mean? Like, to see how it affects her.
Yeah, I suppose so. And then, like, I mean, like, she mentioned it earlier, like the gaslighting and things, and just, I feel like I have a distrust, I guess, of like the healthcare system, I suppose, and just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish there would be more when I do.
And do you find yourself, like, a lot of times advocating for her as well? Because of course, you know, she's advocating for her, but it can become so heavy sometimes that our significant others jump in. You know what I mean? So have you found yourself ever advocating for her as well? Like, hey, she needs some help. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I was just gonna say, I mean, yeah, I definitely look back to mention things that she maybe misses when we meet with a new professional, I guess. So, yeah, I try to do what I can, I guess.
yeah.
You do what you do. Like, I remember most recently, actually, you pay attention to a lot. Most recently, we went to the ER and actually, because I was having a really bad flare and some other issues, and you were like paying attention to everything that the nurse was giving me and stuff, and you're like, oh, I noticed she flushed twice, and I'm like, yeah, that was the nausea medicine and the pain medicine.
Oh,
You're like,
yeah.
okay, all right. Well, I don't know if it was you or my mom, because my mom's there a lot too, and she helps advocate for me. I don't know if it was you or her that asked, did they give you something for nausea? Because, you know, pain medicine tends to make me nauseous. And then you were like, she flushed twice. And then I remember when we went to my new primary care doctor most recently, like there were some medications, and I'm the pharmacist, but there were some medications I forgot. I was like, oh no, I think that's a comprehensive list. And he's like, but you forgot about, and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I mean, he tends to pick them up or like help me pick them up too, but yeah.
Yeah, and it is important to have a village, right? Because I know for me, it was my mother, my best friend, my husband, you know, sister-in-law, just about mother-in-law, everyone, especially when it was really bad for me. And I know that you guys could appreciate that as well, having that village. If you had advice for any other women out there, and in you as well, Quentin, if you have any advice for any other husbands, boyfriends, significant others, kind of being a backbone to your significant other dealing with this, what would you guys say? What would you, if you had 3 tips for them, or any advice?
I would say advocate for yourself, you know, ask questions and, you know, be curious. So, you know, do research and find things out for yourself. So, because, and I actually posted on my page about this recently, I just feel like, especially with primary care, there's, which I know it's the way that the healthcare system is set up overall. They don't have time to change their minds, the way that they jam-pack their schedules, and then the way that insurance expects them to document. And then for a complex patient like me, like they don't have the time. They're not allotted that time. Even if they want to bill my insurance, like they spent the time with me. Anyways, I digress on that. But yeah, like I mean, when you go there to these appointments, it's like I feel like they don't connect the dots. There's not a lot of critical thinking, and sometimes you have to like do that a bit for them. And it's like the more that I've gotten into pharmacy, you know, the more I've been a healthcare professional, you know, actually working in the healthcare field, and then the more I've been a chronically ill patient, it's like the better I've gotten at navigating it, but there are still very big hiccups for me, and instances where the ball gets dropped, and it's pretty frustrating. And I think sometimes he gets more frustrated than I do, because I'm just like, I also am a healthcare professional, so I do try to give these people grace. But, you know, some things, they really are inexcusable.
I agree. And that was going to be my next question, and you segued into it. Like, how do you think the lack of research and the lack of knowledge surrounding endometriosis, how is that affecting your care? Because, like you said, there are major hiccups. There needs to be, you know, gaps needs to be bridged, and it just kind of makes you wonder, like, do you all care as much as the people that are going through this? You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like the funding is there. It just makes me wonder, like, why is it taking so long to arrive to a cure or medication that can assist with this pain? Because they like to throw hormones. They like to throw birth control and surgery. And it's just like, where is the steps before we get to a hysterectomy?
Yeah, and actually, that it really shocks me that that's like the guideline. Basically, if you have a problematic patient or a patient that continues to experience pelvic pain, then basically, I don't understand why. Like, okay, third step is basically a hysterectomy. As a pharmacist, I learned about hormones and then the traditional therapies like the medical menopause and things like that. I learned about those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't learn about, even not even just for treating endometriosis or dealing with endometriosis, dealing with a lot of other conditions, what I didn't learn about and what I wish I learned more about and what I've had to educate myself about is the benefit of supplements.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like it doesn't have to just be hormones or, that's it. That's all I can offer you. Hormones or pain medication, opioids that are really just going to back you up and actually cause you more problems down the line. But actually, targeting the inflammation and recognizing and realizing this is not just a gynecological issue, it's a whole body disease. It's going to affect this person as a whole. And understanding that there are some supplements even that can be very beneficial. But like, when's the last time actually that your doctor has even recommended a supplement to you? And then also, a lot of times they don't even want to listen to what supplements that you're taking. Like after surgery, I was adamant about taking like a few things just to make sure, I was giving myself the best shot at healing initially. And so like I tried to tell my endocrinologist about some of the stuff, and he was like, oh yeah. It was her nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, no, note this down. CoQ10, 100 milligrams, please. Yes, one per night.
Right.
That down.
And it's unfortunate because it's like, I'm telling you what you should be telling me. And it's just like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But you made a good point about the supplements because I learned that later, right? Like I learned that later. I was taking 800 milligrams like it was candy, and I was always constipated. Always. Until I realized.
That makes things work. I mean, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What supplements, if you are able to say that, what supplements do you use? What do you rely on? Like, what is your go-to to help you?
Well, Black woman, definitely vitamin D, year-round, but especially right now. That's beneficial just not only for, immunity, but then also can help, with reducing that inflammation. We know that endometriosis is, it has a lot to do with dysregulation of immunity. So any way you can support that. After surgery, I was very faithful about doing my coenzyme Q10, some zinc, just, give my body a fair shot at healing. I'm anemic, so iron to supplement that. And then also, if you're a heavy bleeder, which I tend to be, that only makes the anemia worse. So supplementing that, and then of course pairing that with some vitamin C to help boost the absorption. I was, before surgery, very faithful about doing turmeric. Actually, I would do it in a shot. And I really do think that helped me with the pain. Maybe it was a placebo effect, maybe not. And then magnesium, probiotics and digestive enzymes, I'm very faithful about. So yeah, basically it's like, it's a fistful about every 8 hours.
Yeah.
Not really, but I mean, I do try to implement some liquids too, just to like get better absorption, and then also so I'm not constantly swallowing pills, because I have supplements as well as, I do take some pharmaceuticals, so.
Yeah. And I think that's important, like healing the body from the inside out. And I learned that later as well. I know they always mention weight loss all the time. And it's just like, there's women that are thin that deal with this. So it's not necessarily a weight thing. It's...
I can't knock them for that.
Yeah.
As somebody who also suffers from PCOS, weight loss has always been a challenge for me. And then also, as I experience pain, a lot of times movement is difficult. So even just like getting the basic daily walking,
yes,
pain can be difficult. But the thing about that, though, is we do know that endometriosis feeds off of estrogen, and extra fat tissue or adipose tissue does produce estrogen. So
That's
it really
true.
does move the disease.
Yes.
So they have a point there, but that's not it.
That's not it.
And also, it's like, how can I come alongside you and support you on that goal? Can we get you with a nutritionist or something like that?
Yes.
Or can you recommend me a regimen to go off of? Not just, oh yeah, eat healthy, eat some vegetables, and go for a walk, and
Yeah.
And also, it's like, even with just trying to like create a healthy diet or regimen, there are some vegetables. I love broccoli, but broccoli doesn't love me back. So I guess realizing what vegetables work for you and what regimen will work for you, and that's something that you can do with the help of a nutritionist, which I have implemented a bit as well. Which I did have one provider that actually did recommend that to me, but that's like one of how many that I've seen.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I love this. This is a lot of good information that I think a lot of women needed to hear. And I too learned some things, so I will be trying the turmeric because I haven't done that just yet. So I'm gonna try that as well. Did you?
Just be careful with that if you already know taking NSAIDs as
Oh
well.
yeah.
But I do both.
Okay.
But I'll try to limit the NSAIDs, of course, because they're just so problematic on the phone. But they do work.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you both, honestly. I appreciate your time. Do you guys have any final knowledge tips, anything to share, or anything like that with our community?
Well, I guess, just going off some of the things that you did send me, one thing I did want to, I guess, touch on. Another thing that does keep me grounded and rooted is definitely prayer, journaling, and especially like journaling and then looking back on journals. Every time I go to write, I go look at the last entry before I write again, just to see where my mind was at last.
Yes.
I don't put pressure on myself to write a certain amount, and a lot of times, there are some points where writing, it's not really helpful because I find all I'm doing is complaining, and I'm not able to kind of, flip the switch and look at the positives. And so, I do want to just reiterate how, important my faith has been in, helping me through this, because I know nothing comes to me without, God knowing about it for me.
Definitely.
And just having faith, and knowing that He's been with me all throughout this process, even when doctors, I feel like, were working against me. It's like, she told me that she did the ablation. She didn't do the ablation. Me, knowing that I have a high propensity to scar, I'm glad she didn't do that, actually, because that would have just created a bigger mess to clean up 5 years later. So I wanted to mention that as well, because that's been a really big piece of carrying me.
Definitely, and I can definitely say it was for me as well. That's what kind of pushed me to also write my little memoir, because I wasn't even supposed to be able to carry my son. He was my miracle baby. So everything happens for a reason. Even through my worst days, he was my light, and he still is. When I'm feeling like crap, because I still have flare-ups, I still have phantom pains, I look at him like he's my why. He was the light at the end of that tunnel. So, yes, faith is a big one for me as well. Did you guys have any thing that you wanted to share with our community, such as like how to reach you, if they want to ask any further questions from a pharmaceutical perspective, or?
Well, I'm always open to answer questions, of course. It's definitely always important to talk with your provider. But
Definitely.
my inbox is always open. I thought I was clever, and so my handle is chemistry _. You can find me like that, like KEMISTRY _. You can find me like that on Instagram, TikTok, and then my Facebook is just Kemi Lewis. I just have a personal Facebook.
Okay, awesome. And going forward, I do want to let you know, and I think Wanda, who I interviewed last week, is on here as well. I do plan on doing a panel live coming here soon. So I'm skipping next Friday because it's obviously Thanksgiving week. So I do plan on doing a panel discussion in the next coming weeks here. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. I think that'll be a great conversation as well, to have a lot of different ideas going.
Yeah, let me know.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you both. Thank you so much. You guys are a beautiful couple. I wish you well in your healing. And just know that, yes, and just know that we're going to get through this.
Was it last year?
I had my hysterectomy in June of last year. I was midway through my MBA program, and I had to get COVID. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I still have phantom pain still to this day, on and off.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And you still have your ovary?
I have one. Yeah. I have my left ovary still. Yeah. Everything else is gone though. But I wish that there was more that could have been done before that. But you know, my appendix was about to rupture. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm so thankful by the grace of God. I didn't lose any organs, but it was everywhere. So she cut on a lot of them. So there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. But you know, even my appendix was okay. So, but that is scary, and nobody did it.
Yes. Yes, and that's kind of why I wanted to create this community. You know, because I know there's a lot of other endo pages, of course. But for me, I want to hear from other women, you know, and I do look at this like a community, and I want it to continue to grow like that. Like, we all can feed off of each other and learn a lot.
It really is therapeutic, even just to talk about it, you know, spread a little bit more awareness. It affects me each and every day. And, you know, I've told people I have endometriosis. Oh, so you have really bad periods? No, I have pain every day, honey.
Yes.
So, yeah, people really do need to understand more about it. You don't have to know the whole, you know, physiology, but, you know, just the basic sense, you know, just because it's affecting, you know, 10% of, you know, women. So it's worldwide. So that's quite a bit of people.
Yes. Yes, it is. But I appreciate you both. I really do. This was therapeutic for me as well. Every Friday is therapeutic for me.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to join you live. Hopefully I can again in the future. And we'll chat.
Yes. And if you know anybody else that's interested in coming on to be interviewed, and just not even interview, I don't like using that word, to just chat about their experience.
We have a conversation about what we're doing.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'll join from your way.
Thank you. And if you guys haven't yet, please look at my book, The Smile. The Ache Beneath the Smile. It's out on Kindle, Amazon. It's a short book, but it's, you know, about my journey. So if you guys want to look at that and read that, I appreciate it. I will be donating all of my own proceeds to build this platform. So that's the goal here. But I appreciate you guys. Have a great evening and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, how do we end it? Do you know how to end it? Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me messages, DM me. I appreciate it. See you guys Friday after next. Thank you, Facebook, for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'm not doing a live next Friday because it is Thanksgiving week. So tune in Friday after next. As usual, send me messages. DM me if you have any questions or want to be on my next live. I appreciate it. Feel free to get The Ache Beneath the Smile on Amazon Kindle. Share it with a friend. Tag everybody. You guys have a great evening. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.